point in the future. Might be some news out there that people are saying or whatever. I don't know. Haven't been tuned into that. But if you look at everything, I'm looking at NVIDIA and Palantir. They look okay to me. And generally speaking, goals hit record highs, 4,004. But what bothers me there, silver is not going up. Why is silver coming down? Well, maybe silver is an economic gauge right now. People are thinking the economy's slowing or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's the thought process from my perspective. And so I'm not going to put any new trades on. I got enough on right now to watch out. But again, this is trading. We'll be patient. Um, we also just somebody just told me that Jerome Powell is speaking today. So I wonder what he's got to make everybody feel good about. All right, so let's move to slides. Anything else? This is we have we'll stay there long enough for me to talk, maybe. The weekly trade letter. It's out for the week. I've identified my 5 best stocks. I've identified the special feature, and I think that we just got to be patient to wait. That's my deal. If you want the newsletter, there it is, $9.99 for a year. And Chuck, on Wednesday, you do a report on this. So he will sort of analyze what we said Monday afternoon and where the market's trading. The retirement center is growing. We've got a meeting this Friday at 2. Put that on your schedule if you're part of it. And we have a Telegram channel specially designed for that. I think it's a good place to hang out with us every Friday for a review of what we're doing, and maybe you ought to do the same thing. We're in pretty good shape. Now, if you go open an account, use our referral code right there, row at DTI Trader. And I talked to the girl. You can put DTI in there if you get the link, but the bottom line is row at DTI Trader will give you the specialized link they created to document all that. So, get a Tasty Trade account. I like what they're doing. They're expanding their hours, which is going to really make them really competitive when they go 24 hours. I want to mention the gold program. I talk to people all along. They don't know about this. That's the reason we put it front and center on Train and Trade. If you spend for all the programs we have, you're going to spend about 20,000, 25,000 in a year. If you want the services, I mean, get all the trades and choose which ones that we're putting out every day. So far today, I put out 8, for example. Okay, 8 trades. And Jonathan, where am I at for this month so far on trades that we open and close this month? How are we doing?
A bunch of winners and no losers.
You got a number? Still just an observation?
Well, you said 7-0 earlier, so I think there were 7-0 or 8-0, one of the two.
Well, 7-0 is not a bad way to start. If I was you, I'd be trying to say that. Anyway, we got a pretty good handle on October's market, even with Jay Powell speaking today. All right, this is our 3-day algo, and we'll look at it real quick. I'll go through it. If you look right there, we're long gold, we're long silver. Bonds, I think, is going to change. I'm looking at bonds over here. It looks like it's having a pretty good day in bonds based on my quote. We'll see how that works out. Next page, please. Anybody make that SPX trade we did overnight? That was a nice trade. Okay, you see a lot more shorts on the table. How'd you like that trade? You gotta be careful. I had a guy in the class, he went hog wild on the trade, and I said, the problem, the reason I haven't used it a lot is because I knew people would go crazy with it. He went crazy, but he gets to go home and tell his wife just all the money he made today. So I guess that's worth something. I started talking about the risk of it and he got out and took his profit. Jennifer, if you did, you lost money because you put it in wrong. You need to get with Jonathan and show the trade at a later time and go through it. It was a great trade. One of the top 10 of the week.
All right, these are updated.
Okay, we got an updated sheet now. Take me down into the heart of it. Gilead, we got Gilead, showing up here. I remember Gilead when I liked it at $80 a share. We got it back on the sheet now. It's looking good. Berkshire's come back in play, finally. It should have a good quarter, Berkshire. That's one reason I kept holding on to it. It was, I think, historically about 12% this quarter. That's Berkshire. Finally, I'm redeemed on my NNE. Look at the price of it, NNE. I bought it shortly over 10. I've been holding it for a couple of years while Oklo was getting all the headlines and making me feel, why didn't I have it? NNE was like dying on the vine. NNE, that sector, it's storming ahead. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So that's my day, NNE. Way to go, Junior. You get it. LFGY is sort of a Bitcoin related dividend payer. I like it. Go through the dividend payers, if you will. Okay. WePay is a new one I put on this week. WePay, WPAY. What it does is take a combination of all the dividend payers to give you sort of an average. I'm going to take it for a dance. And I like Hood, even though it's not gone green. I like it at these levels. All right, Chuck's going to finish it up, folks. But my guess is that everybody here that's a member of TNT is smiling, and this is the kind of market TNT can do some good with because it doesn't take a lot of logistics to get trades to you. Jonathan, what's the report on power? We got anything filled?
Nothing filled, but two of them did ABO and cancel.
Yeah. So we had 5 that took the field. 2 of them are going to bed already. We've got 3 out there that's still viable for today. So y'all have a great day. I'll be back when we got something to say. But 8 trades been issued today. We'll see how we do. And member support 6768. That's a good pivot number for the regular thing. Check TNT for an updated projection on highs and lows for the second half of the day. All right, take it away, Chuck.
All right, thank you, Tom. And we'll get the screen share up.
Perfect.
Grabbing control. And make sure you mute your mic, Tom. And let's see where those trades disclosed.
It's amazing to me how.
Okay. Jonathan, do you think you could step over and mute that mic?
It's
I might be able to
amazing
do it from here, but
how you had a market that's so strong.
there we go. Thank you, sir. All right. So where are trades disclosed? Basically, if you're following along with Telegram, you'll see many of those trades uh, depending on the service that you're in, Jackie. So that's one of the things there is, yeah, it does sort of depend. Also, a lot of those are, I believe, tracked um, in the one-click servers. So that's a good way to look at that. And let's see. Make sure I'm in the right spot. What I want to do, though, we can get back to that. I want to go ahead and talk to you guys about T-Buzz Talk and Trade. Trades are tracked through T-Buzz Talk and Trade, and that would be on the Telegram channel. And let me just make sure I'm in the right channel to bring that to your attention. All right, so the T-Buzz Talk and Trade. I'm trying to hide all the other ones I got. Well, we'll just do it this way. So T-Buzz Talk and Trade, you can see some of the information that was coming out. And so we got RB3 there. So this is a lot of morning information. And you can see the things that Tom was looking at coming into this morning. This is the start of October 7th. And we've got some news information. So the Telegram channel for T-Buzz Talk and Trade, usually the best place to follow the TNT information. Now, today's focus, what we're talking about today is Trade Day Tuesday with the roadmap numbers that pay. We're going to take a look at some of the things in roadmap software as we move along. But let's go ahead and talk here. Numbers that pay Tuesday. I'm going to take you through the slides, and then we'll go and look at the a live update, because obviously this market's continuing to move. But Tuesday trade day, so what do we start out looking at? You can see when Jonathan updated this picture, we had the S&P futures. We can see the last traded price there at 67.80. What we're really paying attention to, okay, what we're really paying attention to is something other than this presentation. All right, I see how that works. Had a question, where do we get the roadmap updates? Over in one click, right? So if you go to one click, go to roadmap, you should find the updates there. That's the best way to get that. So hope you guys are logging in through one click. Let me go ahead and do this presentation, and we'll do the tech support stuff a little bit afterwards. So where is Monday's high and low? This is going to be one of the big important things that we look at, and that's the week start. And they put this down as week start instead of as Monday because, of course, we do have some Monday holidays occasionally, which means that your week start could be on Tuesday. So the week start is the important part here. We did open this week at 67.68. Week start high. That means Monday's high in this case, 67.97.75. Week start low is 67.66.50. Now, if you've been paying attention to your futures markets today, you know that we have both traded above the week start high and below the week start low. And that might come into focus as something that you have to pay attention to. Our open for Tuesday, you'll notice that we have the Tuesday date highlighted at the bottom. Our open 67.89.50. RBX open at the time they took this, I guess reference bar 3 was not complete, but RBX 67.85.50. And then previous day high, previous day low, which is kind of redundant on the second day of the week because the previous day high and the previous day low are the same as the week start high and week start low. Nonetheless, that previous day high and previous day low, notice where they are. They're right next to the last traded price. So you're looking to see if that last traded price is moving either higher than the previous day range or lower than the previous day range. And we can see a couple examples here. The S&P kind of flat to middling, not a whole lot going on there, but go and take a look at gold. Gold up to 4,009.4 at the time this screen capture was taken. We know that's above the previous day high. That's a good mark for it. We know it's above that RBX open. It's above the open of the day. It is above the week start high, which again, week start high and previous day high, the same thing. But it's also above the open of the week. Conversely, when we look over at Bitcoin, that's showing up red. Of course, Bitcoin had a great day yesterday, so not really that big of a surprise. Now they are below the previous day low. They are below the RBX open. They are below the open of the day. They are below the week start low. So you can see as you line things up, you want to see if everything's lining up in place. We have a couple bullish examples with some of our stocks here: Amazon, Nvidia, Palantir, of course, with gold all showing bullish. But then we have that bearish example as well with Bitcoin. So we want to follow the market. So if you feel that you have to be bearish in this market, Bitcoin might be the market to look at. I'm not making a trade recommendation. I'm just telling you where the colors are. If you feel that you're thinking you need to be bullish in this market, you have a couple different options as well: gold, Amazon, Nvidia, Palantir, and also take a look and see if anything is getting ready to. So a lot of times you have the we're flashing green, we're flashing red, but can you anticipate that flash? And that's one of the reasons that we do focus on these numbers. We want to make sure that you understand them as we're coming in. So Tuesday trade day, where is the market primed? What are we paying attention to even before we get started? And this is the highlight information. So the numbers that pay showcases the importance of our three simple patterns, and it does it in table form. Now, are you guys familiar with the three simple patterns? Because if not, I need you to pay attention real quick. Let's flip over here and let's look at these three simple patterns. Now, when we have two bars stacked against each other, this is a time progression. Doesn't matter if that's a 30-minute bar, a daily bar, a 1 minute bar. We're looking at one bar to the next. And you can see this moves in a pattern of a higher high and a higher low. So the second bar here, higher high, higher low, that's a buy signal. That's signaling that the market is trending in an upward direction. Come to the second pattern here, and this second bar has both a lower low and a lower high. That's signaling a downtrending market, typically associated with a sell signal. And then we have the third pattern, where we have the second bar with both a lower high and a higher low. Now that's what we call an inside bar. It's telling us to stay out. The market's not sure what's going on. It's really kind of consolidation. What is the best time to look at the numbers that pay? Really, anytime you're trying to pay attention and make a decision on trading. So I would pay attention to it just about, I don't want to say all the time, because I'm going to be looking at a bunch of other things as well. But I think you always want to have it up and available, or at least have that understanding of what is that high, what is that low, previous day high, previous day low. I think that's something that you need to know going into the market. So for someone who's had a little bit of extra experience with the market, what I can do is I can look at where we are in association with the high and low of the previous day, and I can just see that last traded price, and I kind of know what that relationship is. So once you get to that point, you look at the numbers that pay mod to sort of refresh your memory every now and then. Until you get to that point, you probably want to pay a little bit more attention to it. Yeah, I was noticing that there's not an outside pattern outside bar, which is also kind of an indecisive market. When we make both a higher high and a lower low, that's not really necessarily indicative Doesn't really indicate direction. In that sense, though, I'd be interested which one happened first. But in a stagnant area, outside bar tells me, yeah, this might not be the best market for me to be trading in. Indecision. So the way I look at it is you have the bullish pattern, which is, well, market's trending higher. The bearish pattern is the market's trending lower. The inside bar is a consolidating market, and the outside bar is an indecisive market. That's the way I look at it. All right. So are we trading closer to the highs or the lows? This is a proximity gauge. This is where we go and we say, okay, what do we expect to happen next? This morning, we got a market that was looking like it's going to try and climb. It's setting that up. And so now at that point, all we have to do is say, okay, what criteria does the market need to go through to make that high point count? And as we get towards the end of RB3 this morning, we're looking at the market saying, oh, so you can't go higher. What about the low side? What are we looking at there? So you're always kind of anticipating what that next move might be. And a lot of it has to do with which side of the bar are you closest to. So if we're closest to the high, we got two things going on. Either we're not going to be able to get above it, in which case you have the market sort of retracing and you need to refocus on what does the short side possibly look like, or we get above the number and then you're looking to follow that trend. If we're closer to the bottom of the bar, again, same situation there. What is it going to take to put us over that edge, put us in the short side? Or if the market can't do that, starts going the other way, we need to refocus our attention at the other side. So we really always want to pay attention to both sides of the market. And it's, the big picture is the high or the low. But we also do that on a moment by moment basis throughout the market, basically just evaluating those patterns and where they could lead us to next. So a higher high obviously signals higher prices. That's a bullish trend. It's either continuing or a bearish trend has issues. Basically, if you get that higher high, if you've been in a bearish trend, you get the higher high, that's a crack in the trend. Now, does it continue or is it just a pause? That's what you're looking at. So if you continue moving higher, then that is one recipe. And if you continue moving lower, then that would be another. All right, let's go to our next slide here. How are we trading off of the open and the reference bar? This is not about range. This is about, am I above or below each of these numbers? So you notice with the S&P that 6780 reference, and we've actually, I think, moved a bit more. Take a look real quick. Yeah, we're down at 6760. That would be below the reference bar open. That would be below the open. We actually have a Genesis bar open right now. And I want to go back through and see if I can get that around 67, 64 area. So that's how the market plays out there. I really want to get to a live market here. So let me see if I can go through these slides a little bit. Stick around and listen to this broadcast about the Roadmap software, one of its key features that can help you find stocks to get up each year on specific dates. Reminder, today's recording will be found via the live tab at dtitrader.com/YouTube. And before we start the recording, I do want to show you guys Roadmap software, and you can see that we are actually pushing down at the moment. We've started the Genesis bar, but let's go over here and let's take a look at Tuesday. And you notice things look a little bit different. I'm focusing mainly on these index futures and the ETFs associated with them, but you can see the market sort of turning into that lower side argument. Now, we know that that S&P future made a new high up at 6802.75. This is the outside bar. Got a question about that earlier. RR asked, what about an outside bar? You're looking at one right now, but in the context of how this market is moving at this point, so it's an outside bar on a daily basis, but right now, these are downward facing bars, right? So those time frames, you're looking at the market intraday, or you're looking at it day by day, or are you looking at it from an even larger outside view? That really becomes part of the issue. So markets develop over time. What time period are we talking about? Outside bars can become downtrending bars, or it can quickly become uptrending bars. So everything in context. But what about an outside bar? Which side was broken last? Like the first break is one thing. The second break, obviously, you'd have to be at the other end of the bar to make that happen. So that's kind of the way I would look at that. Now, if I'm evaluating at the end of today and I see an outside bar, because I will, we've traded both above the high of the week start and below the low of the week start. So when I come in Tuesday night, evaluating Tuesday's trading, certainly going to take note of the fact that we had an outside bar. But then the next step is, where do we go next? So every bar breaks at some point, unless, of course, we've got an elongated period of consolidation. But even then, you're expecting a break at some point. All right. So let me go ahead and check with the powers that be. Adam, have we got a video ready to roll? They are eating lunch right now, but get them up real quick. What is an outside bar? That's when you have both a higher high and a lower low. Here, let me show you this. Change this S&P chart to a swing chart. And what you'll notice here is that we had, from Friday's range, an inside bar, lower high, higher low on Monday. And here Tuesday, we're trading outside of Monday's range, a higher high and a lower low. A lot of times when you get that sort of a situation, you want to go back a little bit further. So for instance, Friday's low at 67.54 might be important right now. Might be a pivotal level for the market. Happens to be you're at the Genesis bar, but this is a pretty big number right here in the S&P. Okay. All right. Adam's going to come in, take you guys to a video. And do we also want to stop the recording, Adam? I'll let you handle it then.
Our retirement calendar. Anybody here worry about making enough money in retirement to live the lifestyle you're accustomed to now? Who's worried about that? Well, let me teach you what we put together and we refined over the years. It's called our retirement calendar. A lot of money was spent developing this because we knew one day we would be there. So pay attention. The testimonials shown are from my very best students, from the other income research services I have, profit and performance shown. Probably not typical to get educated. We make no future earnings claims. And there is trades you're gonna lose on. The trades expressed are from historical data in order to demonstrate the potential of the system. Every